Jesse, how are we?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself, Danny?
No, not too bad. Good to see you as always.
Yeah.
So we've spent hours and hours in gyms, and we've spoke about everything from the most sublime to the ridiculous during that time. So when I was thinking about podcast guests, your name was pretty top to the list. So thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure.
One thing I like to try and do is quickly explain to anyone who might be watching or listening what you do. So I'm going to take a stab at that for you. So bear with me. So we always get the most important one out of the way first. So husband and father.
Top of the list.
Yeah, top of the list, get that out of the way. One that I'm sure we'll speak about. So retired professional MMA fighter.
Yeah.
You're now PTing, sports coach, self-defense instructor, and all-round fitness guru, and proud South African. Does that sum you up?
Exactly.
Nice
Correct.
one.
Yeah.
Excellent. So before we get into it, how did you get on with your Hi-Rox fitness competition?
So it was my first solo event. Obviously, I did.
And maybe just explain what Hi-Rox is first, actually.
So Hi-Rox is a endurance sports competition.
Sounds like hell on earth.
It is definitely. What it does, it tries to incorporate some strength and obviously the cardiovascular side of things. So it's 8 kilometers of running, and then in between each 1 kilometer of run, there's an exercise that you have to do, and it's either heavyweight power strength exercise, or again it's cardiovascular, which then doesn't let your heart rate come down. So for example, the first one is 1 kilometer run, 1,000 meter ski erg, back into 1 kilometer run. So your heart rate is just sticking up there the whole time. So it definitely does test everything. And I think for an athlete, it is probably one of the best competitions out there now to test yourself in all departments.
Yeah, there's no place to hide with that, is there?
Exactly.
And it was a massive field, wasn't it? I was surprised. I was having a quick look the other night about how you done.
Yeah.
And it was about 1,000 people taking part.
1,157 in the men's singles alone in Birmingham. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I came top 10%. Not happy, but again, I think through our conversations, you understand my personality traits, and I do know I know I need to be kind with myself sometimes, because the top 10% relatively for my first singles event to anyone's standard would be maybe decent enough, but I also knew how much work and effort that I put in leading up to that event. So a lot of pressure I put on myself didn't adhere to that in the actual events itself.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just because I got to that dark place and I was like, okay, maybe I didn't do enough. So again, it's one of those things in any event is you need to make sure that no stone is left unturned when it comes to the training for it. So when you then get met with that adversity, you obviously don't break.
Yeah, there. Because I was looking online to see how you did with it, and obviously, as you say, first one, you came in the top 10%, fantastic, but I thought he's not going to be happy with that.
No, not at all.
Because you don't go to come in the top 10%, you're there to make a difference.
Yeah.
What you're saying about now, the kind of mental side in it, is that because the athletes round about you are such high quality that right away from the start you're seeing people who are pushing themselves harder than you, they're going faster, and that must kind of almost chip away at you a wee bit?
Yeah, and it's definitely different, I would say, to like what I've done in the past with mixed martial arts and things like that. I think with mixed martial arts, it's definitely like the 1%ers that do it.
Yeah.
It's a tough sport. Not everyone does it. I think with fitness, you're going to get a lot more competition because a lot of people do fitness.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to test themselves. A lot of people can train for the fitness side of things.
And you're not getting punched in the face
exactly.
either.
So the mixed martial arts, there was always that 1%. You're going up against the top guys. But when it comes to the fitness, the pool just becomes so much bigger, and you're a small fish in a big pond, which again, I thrive on. I love the idea of me working my way to a point where my name's in the conversation. And that is exactly what I'm obviously doing now.
Yeah, so that was your first one, so I think you can be a wee bit kind to yourself. You're saying. So in terms of where you came in your time, what's the delta between where you are and where you want to be, which is, what do you want to be, top 10, top